Surah Al-Hadeed. Okay, the first 6 verses are talking about Allah. We saw together how many beautiful names in these 6 verses. And then verse number 7 says, Aminu billahi wa rasulah. This is Allah that I am asking you to believe in. Who is Allah you want to believe in? Okay? Don't separate him from his messenger, because both of them are on whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Prophet will apply. Is that right? And everything the Prophet does is in compliance with the revelation. And if there is something that the Prophet does that is not totally in accordance, immediately the revelation will come down to adjust. You see the Prophet's application, telling him this is the best course to take. And he will tell him, ذَلِكَ أَقْسَطُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ. You see, I'm telling you about something better than what you have done. I want you to go to that level. You see what I mean? Like Abasa wa Tawalla. It's a big example. The revelation came down to adjust, to tell the Prophet what is the right policy to take in a situation like that. And this is why we always say the experience of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what we call a sunnah, okay, is the best experience in the history of humankind. Why? Because it is adjusted by the revelation. Every experience after it, no matter what name you give it, remains human. And we have to adjust. We have to go back to the reference and adjust our path. With Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the revelation will come down immediately, right away, and make the adjustment. And this is why it remains لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Make sense?
Yes,
so,
definitely.
And what in this surah, in Surah Al-Hadeed, okay, what is really one of the important actions the society has to take in order to reflect their really true belief in Allah and His Messenger? وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا جَعَلَكُمْ مُسْتَخْلَفِينَ فِيهِ. You cannot build and protect a society without putting all these resources in the service of that society. If you are saying you are a just society, how are you going to make it a just society? To leave the people who have, to keep the money only circulating in the hands of the rich? And those who do not have the right conditions, leave them in their poverty, in their hunger, and their illnesses, and all the problems that will follow?
No, it can't.
It cannot. You see the threats coming from inside, especially the al-munafiqun, al-murjifuna fil Medina, those who spread the rumors. I mean, those who have their belief is shaken, and they all are trying to spread mischief in the society and disrupt its fabric. How are you going to you have to put some of these resources in that direction. And this is why we saw how ينفقون في سبيل الله as vocabulary reflecting giving. Okay, we did not see it in Mecca because there was no challenge like that in Mecca. The challenge in Mecca was how to build that human being, how to increase the goodness of that human being. يؤتي ماله يتزكى قد أفلح من زكاها. Is that right? أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى. This is the vocabulary that was used in Mecca. In Medina, the challenge is changed. And so we have to give the giving a different, even the vocabulary changed. You see where the lugha, where language becomes subservient to the vision. Are you following?
Yes.
The vision, you have a new society now, a newly born society. It needs a lot of resources. Resources like to establish the social justice. You need the resources to protect the society from disintegration by the action of those who are working underground and spreading rumors. You need resources, and the best resource is if they are saying لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله. Quran will come and say وأنفقوا مما رزقناكم. Not only أنفقوا مما من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت, before your time is up, which means what? It's an emergency. Don't say, oh, I will do it tomorrow, or I will do it next year, or in 5 years from now. No, it is an emergent situation. Can you imagine if the society, if you have a society who feels that their duty to spend in the way of Allah is an emergent thing all the time? And what do we mean by spending in the way of Allah? The way of Allah is the way of justice. The way of Allah is really to be is a generosity. The way of Allah is really like to help and assist others. To practice rahmah on them. الخلق كلهم عيال الله. All humanity. Not all الخلق, not only humans, every creation, all creation should be treated as a family of Allah. أحبكم إلى الله أرحمكم لعياله. The closest among you to Allah is the one who is really the most merciful to his creation, to his family. عيال الله. As if you see that what does it really mean now, مستخلفين? I am entrusting you with all these resources. I could have given them right directly, but I am making you an agent of a change, an agent of autonomy. Is there more autonomy more than that? You see, In Surah Yasin, let me just 1 second, just to... Surah Yasin is number 34. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 36, exactly. Yeah. And go to verse number 47. Very beautiful. Just to show you that when the human being, okay, abdicate, human beings abdicate their autonomy in this life. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or when they were told to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, provided them. قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه. Why I have to feed somebody Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of feeding that person? إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. You are in total loss. You are lost in error. In fact, and to me, okay, in that setting, you have distorted your own humanity, destroyed your own humanity. Because we said the human being is free, the human being is autonomous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is definitely capable, but He is asking you to be in charge of that. And every time, okay, we are facing a situation, we start really blaming Him. Astaghfirullah, Subhanallah. Instead of asking, what is my role? How I can prevent this from happening? Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
So the whole, again, you can see, and later on, the vocabulary became even stronger. يجاهدون بأموالهم وأنفسهم. They struggle and strive. You see, it's more than ينفقون. And when we say في سبيل الله, because others may spend, but instead of being in the way of Allah, to obstruct the way of Allah. إن الذين كفروا ينفقون أموالهم ليصدوا عن سبيل الله. مش في سبيل الله. You see two different paradigms, two different directions. They are provided with the same resources, but one is using these resources to establish justice, to increase their goodness, to spread mercy, to spread forgiveness, to spread generosity. You see what I mean? And the others are doing the opposite, to obstruct the way of Allah, to stop the message of Allah. And so, if you remember, we said last time that those who do not use or give their resources the right direction, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called them stingy. And you say, oh my God, but they are really spending right and left. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still called them stingy because they are not giving these resources the right direction. They spend, but they spend like for show off. Ri'a an-nas. They want to boast about what they are doing. They want to be arrogant. And they show arrogance every time they thinking that they are giving people favors. You are not giving that person favor. This is your duty. And again, if that person believes that he owns, yes, he feels that, oh, he is giving and he has to bestow his favors on the people to whom he gives. But if you believe that you are entrusted with what you were given, then you don't have, you have no favor on others. Is that right?
Yep. You're not expecting anything in return.
Exactly. And here we can see like the verses 18, 20, 22 to 24. ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها. Okay, don't. This life is full of up and downs. How to deal with these situations? And the situations when we are provided with so many things, and when we are really facing a form of calamity. And Quran is talking about two types of calamities here. Calamities that happen on the earth, like a hurricane, like earthquake, flooding, strong storms, things that are we all are aware. Every now and then, if you look across the world, you see, okay, things happening. Okay, and there are calamities that affect us personally right away. They definitely, all these calamities we talked about, they affect us, but they arise from around us, but now they may also arise from inside us. Like states of hunger, poverty, disease, death, all are calamities. And even death, Quran called it musiba. أصابتكم مصيبة الموت. Loss of a beloved person is a big calamity. How to deal with these things? First of all, this is a very important statement. Verse number 22, that any calamity, any disaster befalls, occurs in the earth or in yourselves, none of these will happen, okay, haphazardly or at random or without the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is written, is documented. And it's important how the idea of documentation is really emphasized through Quran.
Can I ask one question, brother?
Please.
That means whatever happened in humanity or worldwide, the universal, nothing, everything is recorded, is somehow, somewhere. Next, that means when you get a qadar, that's the same thing.
Yes, yes, which means, I mean, if something has is recorded, it means that it is in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is really a metaphor, if you like, for the knowledge of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about it and allowed it to happen. Okay, the issue here, okay, is that nothing happens, and qadr is part of that, no question about it. Okay, yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يعني not knows and allow things to happen in the measures that is compatible with his own scheme of things and his own wisdom, that sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. We always want to know what is the objective, why this really happened. Okay, many times really we may not know exactly, but what we need to know about this situation, these situations, okay, is how to deal with them. The Muhammad Asad uses a very interesting term. He said, we need to deal with these things with conscious equanimity, which means, or I can translate it, if you like, in action, okay, into what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about the state of the believer, that the state of the believer is a wonderful state. عجبا لأمر المؤمن. You see, عجبا لأمر إن أمره كله له خير. Everything is perceived as good by the believer. Why? If a calamity affects him or her, how do they face that calamity? Sabr, by patience. And if they are facing a bounty, a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ سَرَّاء شَكَرْ. So they face it with the gratitude. And both of them, sabr and shukr, are not only only feelings, but they are always associated with action. اعملوا آل داود شكرا إلا الذين صبروا وعملوا الصالحات. You see, so it's sabr is not idle waiting for things to change, but what are you going to do to make a change? So your actions become part of that state of sabr in order to see good things replacing the bad ones. You see, so the sabr, it means it reflects the continuity of your action, not to stop your action. If you don't get the right I mean results, don't stop, but it may require change in the action, the quality of your action, the direction of your action, in order really to see better results.
And I can say that one, our journey individually, each person, is still recorded next to Allah.
Oh, no question. Yes, because he is all-knowing, Al-Alim, Al-Khabir. So he knows everything. Yes.
That means he knows what we're gonna do.
Yes.
And no doubt, we just record it somehow. We just we're just acting right now, but because he's beside his permission, we're just doing it.
Yes, exactly. Now, I want you I mean, all of you, like I'm referring you to a verse in Surah Taha, which is number 20. As you know, in Surah Taha, we see the experience of Musa alayhi salam with the Pharaoh. And in one of the conversations that occurred between the Pharaoh and Musa alayhi salam, the Pharaoh asked Musa alayhi salam in verse number 51, قال فما بال القرون الأولى. What about the state of previous generations? قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب. Moses said, okay, what is this? The knowledge of that is with my Lord in a record.
In the book.
In a book. Everything is recorded. My point is, but look at this. لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not absent. He's present all the time. لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى, and he does not forget. So why he needs a book? A record.
all he knows.
Yes, my point is, Brother Jamal, it is for us to understand how important it is to record, so that we are not God. If God is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself recorded these things. So we need, remember that again, the culture that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam appeared and was an oral culture. They depend on really like narrating things.
And we know how does narration and remembrance goes. Right?
Yes, exactly. So
I think it's also saying that this is how we learn. If you don't record anything, we will not learn. Yeah, exactly. We will not learn the messages.
Yes, and I think that's very important. I think the bombardment. I mean, many times the last or the page before the last of Surah Al-Baqarah, there is this long verse about borrowing and loans. Is that right?
Yeah.
You all know it's one page. One verse is one page, talking about the ethics and really how we should really deal, appropriately and honestly when it comes to loans.
And record it.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه.
And you need the one, the shahid next to that one.
Exactly. So that's why it was very important for Quran to be recorded right away. And this is how it was preserved. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, but that we should be the agents of preservation. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not write it with his own hands, so that he will not create any suspicion in the minds of the people. No, he created a group, an army of scripts, if you like.
Sometimes
took advantage of every opportunity to increase the number of his followers who can read and write, because he was very conscious about how important it is for Quran to be recorded in time, at the time of its revelation, so it will not be left to the memories of the people that may deceive them one time or another. Ibn Khaldun, rahimahullah, used to say, the lying creeps to the to all narratives, to all narrations by nature. It's not like the person wants to lie. It's the nature of narration and really like transferring information from one generation to the next can be lost in this way. So you need to record.
We need as a kids, we play this game where you whisper in somebody's ear or something, and it goes through 10 people or 9 people, and at the end the message is totally different what the first person said. People, because people tend to add their own experiences, add their own ideas into what somebody is telling you. Right. So I think, but the writing, you cannot deny that if something is written down, you cannot deny it as black and white.
Exactly. Now we understand it at the level of neuroscience and neuropsychology. Okay, we understand why these things happen. But imagine just out of experience, okay, observations. Ibn Khaldun came to the by nature, بطبعه by default. Well, it's really, this is the word. بطبعه, it means by default. It's like what I mean, what is default, like in the computer, like the first
default
answer.
Settings.
Okay, but it's by the way it is done, because this is the easiest thing. And so he said, by default, lying creeps into these narrations. So my point is that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not, he's always present, and he does not forget, and he made it on himself to record everything, what about us, who may not be there sometimes? We may be absent, we may be, we make errors, we forget, and we add something unconsciously.
Dr. Khayr?
Yes.
If I may go back to, if I can add just a quick something. If we go back to the ayah, ma asaba min musibatin fil ardi wala fi anfusikum illa fi kitabim min qabli, this ayah, some people may think or may really take it as taqdeer, because it is already written, it's, and it has to happen. So in response to that, I'm thinking that what we are discussing, the state of Medina at this time, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about anfiqu. He is insisting on so many times, on anfiqu, to spend. And there was a time in the state of Medina that they couldn't find any person for giving them zakah. They were so they were so wealthy, became so wealthy that they didn't need any zakah or any kind of help. So to stop the hunger, this is one of the examples that we don't have to wait, and just because we say it is a taqdeer, it's going to be coming anyway, what can we do? That's one of the example, and everything can be deviated, any musibah if we have the right planning and we think and collectively as a society, if we try to take care of them. Like right now, the weather, you know, it is because of the global warming. I mean, if every country work on this, there is every possibility it will be removed. There won't be any problem. Yeah, some of the things will be out of our control. That doesn't mean that we cannot plan for that and, you know, doing something about it and just wait. It isn't taqdeer and it's going to come anyway. So we shouldn't do anything.
Brother, I mean, thank you very much. But here comes really very important thing in terms of the vision. What does it really taqdeer means? We need to change the way we understand taqdeer. You see what I mean? Taqdeer is not something that will really force you to do something. You see? I mean, the knowledge does not force, but it's basically that statement is to believe, okay, or to make sure that whatever is happening, Allah knows about it. So don't worry. But part of not worrying is really to act properly, to take the appropriate measures and show your qudra, taqdeer and qudra. Listen to this. إن كل شيء خلقناه بقدر وما أمرنا إلا واحدة كلمح بالبصر. Iqbal rahimahullah made a very interesting comment on this by saying that qadr is the time needed to manifest something. You see, taqdeer is really the time given to us to make a change.
Yeah.
You see, that is the idea of taqdeer. Unfortunately, in the minds of the people has become something that you have no choice, that you have no control. No, we were talking لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا. You see, مبلوك لا يقدر على شيء. No, we are not in that state. We have to abandon that state. Okay, but we need to understand really the word nabra'aha. You see, can you underline that word, please? Because sometimes, I mean, even in the Arabic, I mean, commentaries, okay, I see that being translated or explained as a creation. Creation in Arabic, khalaqa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said, min qabli an nakhluqaha. But he said, min qabli an nabra'aha. You remember the beautiful names of Allah, huwa Allahu al-khaliqu al-bari'u. Al-Musawwir. So what is the difference between creation, khalaqa, and bara'a? Okay. Khalaqa, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates something that was not there before. This is a new thing, was not there before. And all the inventions that we know about are really creations because they were not there before. At one time, there was no iPhone. At one time, there was no car. These are all new creations, okay? But nabra'aha is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes the state. When we are moved from one state to another. Look at how we were created in the womb of our mothers. Okay, so we go through stages. This movement and each stage is a state that doesn't look like the one before it. Okay?
Yes.
This movement from one state to another is al-bari. It's like when we talk about shifting the paradigm. There is a shift. It's not just like a simple change. No. It is a total change. We know it really from in the word and viruses. Okay. As you know, every year we have to receive the influenza vaccine. And the reason, because the virus undergoes certain minor changes every year. Okay. Every year we see a new a virus that is different from the one of the previous year because of the mutations that affect its structure, but these are minor changes. We call them a drift from the previous really structure. These are the result of mutations, similar to what now we are seeing with the COVID virus. COVID-19, like Delta and others, okay, are really the result of these mutations, okay, that affect really the virus. Okay, thankfully, so far, the same vaccine works. The other type of a change that we call it a shift, when two viruses come together, they mate, and their genetic material undergoes reconstitution, and a totally new virus is created. Like what happened in 2009 when we have H1N1. And you remember how scary it was, the situation. Mm-hmm. Why? Because this is a novel virus, a new creation. Okay? So the what we are talking, nabra'aha, is when you go from one state to another. Okay? A total shift. Take, for example, the worm that it changes into butterfly.
I was going to say that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. There is no connection between the butterfly and the worm. The constituents are really the same, because with inside the cocoon, it becomes like like fluid, and these elements are reconstructed in a totally different way to give you a new. This is nabra'aha, if you like.
Transformer.
Total transformation. Now look at what happened in our life. Okay, suddenly an earthquake happens. It changes suddenly the state. I mean, God forbid, when you see, for example, a tornado, what do these people say? The afflicted people. Very unfortunate. But this is what happened. When they are interviewed, what they say? They say, in a fraction of a second, our situation changed.
Yeah.
Change in state because of a calamity that happened on the earth, outside them, but it affected them. Change their state. It's amazing. There should be no word will fit that except nabra'aha. Let me give you another very good example. You see, like when you deal with Quran with a vision, you get totally different meanings. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number so beautiful. Verse number 54. But please listen carefully to me, because that I'm sure it will solve a big problem to all of us. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى. Can you put it up, please? وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ يَا قَوْمِ إِنَّكُمْ ظَلَمْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ بِاتِّخَاذِكُمُ الْعِجْلِ. فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ. Usually in Quran, Quran is full of رَبِّكُمْ. Why here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referred to himself by his name Al-Bari'? Not Rabb, not Al-Khaliq. فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ فَاقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I mean, literally, it is saying, okay, because you inflicted zulm on yourselves by worshipping the calf, you have to make repentance. Make repentance to your bari'ikum, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose name is Al-Bari'. How? فَاقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. You know what is uqtul? To kill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kill yourselves. First of all, do you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order somebody to kill himself?
No.
إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَأْمُرُ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. You see, Quran says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَأْمُرُ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not command anything like something like a sin. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't ask us to do something bad. Therefore, I have to understand here uqtulu metaphorically. Like what we said, وَمَنْ كَانَ فِي هَذِهِ أَعْمَى فَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى. I have to understand it metaphorically. And the same thing here. And I am happy that in this commentary he said, you see, kill your ego. Kill that self. And change your state. And you cannot change your state unless you believe in the one who changes states. Allah Al-Bari'. You have to realize the name of Allah Al-Bari' in yourself. And liberate yourself from that self that made you worship a calf less than you. Change that state. Again, here you can see the autonomy, the real taqdeer. Is that right, Brother Yusuf?
Yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew about them what they are worshipping and what they are going to worship in the future. That doesn't mean that will take away from us our autonomy.
And
in
that's
fact,
what I was.
Will be. Yes, I am. My comment on what you said only to start changing the meaning of taqdeer in the minds of the people.
Yeah.
Dr. Walid Khayr?
Yes,
Sorry,
please.
Can I make a comment? This is really beautiful, the way you explain this. I really appreciate this, that you're taking this time to talk about all this, because it helps me a little bit when I see people coming up to me with all their, health issues and everything, and they will say that this is our taqdeer, this is our predestination. This was going to happen, and so I'm not going to, I'm going to just take what's happening and not pursue any further, options in terms of treatment and also I feel like this has sort of prevailed in our communities a lot, that we will believe that this is our predestination. And especially in terms of evolution of your soul, evolution of your sort of ego and all. This, I think, is not as emphasized as we should be based on these ayahs, that we should be evolving and learning from our mistakes and always trying to be a better version from one day to the next. And like you said, in medicine, we know now there's a field of epigenetics, which is that your environment will actually change your genes eventually.
Yes, exactly.
And so this is where this comes in play, that if we use our experience to change ourselves, we will change actually our generational patterns, where we were doing maybe the wrong things in the past, or thinking in a sort of a negative way in the past, to a more, sort of a forward-thinking way.
Excellent. And as you can see, how like the applications.
Yes.
How, I mean, these, again, you see how the vision, will change everything. You start to see far. It's not just like, okay, what is happening here and now. Okay. So again, when people start, I mean, that type of argument, okay, so we have to ask them this. Allah knows, and He has recorded everything, but do you know it? Do I know it? Does he know it? No. Does she know it? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
This is why, I mean, the rule that we need to really apply to ourselves and ask people to abide by it is that we have to do what Allah has asked us to do, not what He knows what will be the outcome. I don't know. You see, the future, Allah knows the future, but that doesn't mean that I have to leave it to like the things to unfold like spontaneously. I need to intervene. In Arabic, the saying goes like this, okay? يعني نحن نعلم ماذا أراد الله منا لا ماذا أراد الله بنا. I know what is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to act.
Yes.
I don't know about the outcome, although He knows about the outcome because He is Allah. He knows the future, He knows the past, He knows the present. You see what I mean? So, but I don't know. I know what is being commanded to me from Allah is to act and to make a change. And Allah Himself said, I am not going to make any change until you make that change. Is there more autonomy than that? Although He's capable.
Yes.
Okay. No question, when we do everything in our capacity, okay, when we do everything that we are really supposed to do, we take all the measures and everything, and then, okay, you say, tawakkaltu ala Allah. I put my trust in Allah. After I have done everything, you see, action, فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. After you take your resolve, put your trust in Allah. Not trust in Allah and sit down. Not say I am patient and sit down. This is not sabr.
Yeah.
At least in the vision of Quran. In the vision of Quran, sabr is really an active, continuous work until you see better results.
Yeah.
How many times we ask our patients to be very patient? And we say it on both sides. You know that this situation, it takes time to resolve. It will, and you know that the patient will be suffering in the meantime.
Yeah.
Here comes really the sabr, that you are patient, but you are taking every measure, and the patient is helping you taking their own measures in their own capacity to make a difference. And then you see the difference. Wal asri, إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. What does it really mean? تواصوا بالحق They advise each other. They recommend to each other two things. To stay on the right path, it means quality. As a physician, as a surgeon, as an internist, as an engineer, like a businessman. The two things that we need to stick to, okay, is really the quality of what we are really doing. This is like to recommend the truth.
Yeah.
Quality is right.
Yeah.
The second thing, sabr, continuity. Don't stop working to make a difference. Quality and continuity. Please keep these two things in mind and teach them to your kids. Even if they have become in their 30s and 40s, they still need it.
Yeah.
We still need it. So we remind each other how to stick to the truth, keep the quality right, and to stick to patience, to continue to do the right thing until we see better results. And all of this requires what? Time. This is why the surah started Wal Asr. Allah himself is swearing by the time. This is an oath. Wal Asr. Can you imagine patience without time? Is that right? How many times we tell this to our patients? It's just a matter of time. Both of us need to be patient and we will see better results. Yes, chemotherapy is very painful.
Yeah.
This surgery is very painful.
Mm-hmm.
This medicine is not really a pleasant thing to take. But we need to be patient. And with time, you will see the good results.
The time comes, we see that Allah stopped there.
And I see, and here you can see the change in the state. Okay, so so what is my job? To change the state of myself and the people around me. As you see, now you understand the connection with the idea of spending in the way of Allah, how to utilize all the resources in order to change the state or prevent a change of the state from good to bad. Quran talks about both things, that in order to keep a favor, a bounty of Allah, you have always to make a change. If you do not make a change, you will lose that favor from Allah. And the same thing, a bad thing will not be lifted until you make a change. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you to lift that problem or to lift that calamity from you. So but whatever...
We cannot be complacent. That's what
exactly.
I feel like we are being complacent.
Exactly.
And complacency is the problem. Yeah.
And again, when something bad happens, okay, we feel sad, and this is normal. Please, when we feel sad, it is normal. If we don't feel sad, it is abnormal.
Right. We have to acknowledge the emotion.
Yeah. No, exactly. No affect is a mental illness.
Right.
Is that right? Dr. But you know more than me. Like, what is the major salient feature of schizophrenia? No affect.
Yeah.
They don't feel happy about something that they should be happy about it, and they don't feel sad about something that should make them sad. No affect is a state of illness. So Quran is saying if something happened, but also sadness should not go to the extreme. And if it goes to the extreme, it becomes anxiety and depression. Okay, that needs to be taken care of. This is why Quran said, لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ. If I lose something, I feel sad about it. But don't feel too sad. Don't go to the extreme. Like extreme sadness. تَأْسَوْا وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ. We are not supposed to feel joyful. Yes, we have to be. But don't let that joy goes to the extreme. When it goes to the extreme, when we start boasting about the favors that we are given, when we become arrogant, وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Don't be boastful. Don't be arrogant.
This is what you're saying in conscious equanimity. This is exactly what it is.
Exactly. This is conscious equanimity. Exactly. So you see the beautiful thing that we were talking at the beginning about giving direction to our actions. Also, our feelings should be given a direction. And this is how it's the only way in my mind that will allow you to understand verses in Quran that may look apparently like as if they are contradictory to each other. No, the difference will be in the direction, because sometimes Quran said, لا تفرح. Let me show you. In the story of Musa with Qarun, the very wealthy person from his own people, in Surah Al-Qasas, which is number 28. Go to verse number 76. Surah 28, yes, verse 76. Yeah, here. When he, like, you know, he is very wealthy person. And his people were saying to him, لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. How come? Because his joy is taken to the extreme, making him boastful and arrogant. This is the type of joy that, or we should not give our happiness or our joy that direction to go to the extreme. But in other places, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. This is in بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ. Yes, in Surah, I think Al-An'am. Trying to remember where is this. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, no, I think in Surah Yunus. It's a very important really verse, okay, like to see the contrast. And the difference is in the Surah Yunus, number 10, verse number 57 and 56, just to see the connection. يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. This is about the revelation. The revelation is the guidance. The revelation is rahmah, mercy. It's really full of advice, and shifa, a cure for all your social really diseases. Then Quran said, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. You have to be joyful about this huge bounty that was given, this favor and this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the idea is not about joy itself. It's the direction that we are given to this type of emotion. So even our emotions require a direction. You got it? So
yeah,
it's not about you cannot be happy. No, you have to be happy. But what is the direction that you need to give even to your own joy and happiness?
Can I quickly say something, Dr. Khair?
Please.
Yeah, and also the joy or the sadness or anything we do, I think the most important thing is balance. It has to be in a balanced way.
Exactly.
The following ayah in the same surah, Allah mentioned وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ. So there is a reason,
yes.
He is talking about. Yeah.
And the same thing, I mean, you are right, totally right, because this is why I said, do not go to the extreme.
Yeah.
You see, to be joyful should be in the middle. Not to have no effect, which is, we said this is really an extreme on the other side, okay? On one side, no effect is really a state of illness. And also it is a state of illness if you go to the other extreme. You see, when you transgress and you go to boastfulness and arrogance. So keep your farah, your joy in the middle, even your sadness. No affect is state of illness, and also depression is a state of illness. Keep it in the middle. And what will, yes, go ahead.
Your vision determine your
exactly.
direction.
You see, definitely, yeah. Always the vision determines the direction. If I am going to Milwaukee, Milwaukee determines to me that I have to take 94 north. If I take it south, I will not reach. Is that right? So always the vision. Okay. So oh, very good. Who put this up?
I did.
Very nice. Okay. Composure, mental calmness. You see, evenness of temper in the middle. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like when you talk about bravery, should be in the middle. Cowardness is bad on one hand, and also if bravery goes to the extreme, it becomes what? Recklessness. The brave is not reckless. The brave is the most person who always weighs the risk. Weighs in the risk. This is the brave.
Like
is that
Hazrat
right?
Hazrat Ali.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. We talked about autonomy. Autonomy is in the middle. On one hand, you see the helplessness that we saw in the verses that Brother Yusuf asked about them in the beginning. On one hand, on that side, helplessness is not acceptable. To sit idle and not do anything, not to take an action. Helplessness. Autonomy is in the middle. Now, if autonomy goes to the extreme, it becomes what? It becomes self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency is not equivalent to autonomy. It's like the way we teach our trainees, okay? We teach them how to be autonomous, but that doesn't mean that they have to do things without supervision. And if we supervise them in every simple thing, they will not be able to act on themselves after they graduate. You see that you have to be in the middle, supervise them, and give them some autonomy gradually until they become totally autonomous. But any trainee that behaves as if he or she is self-sufficient will not be a good graduate, because they feel that they don't need anybody. Who can take care of one patient alone? No, there's no one who can take care of all the problems of their patients alone. You need the help of others. You need the help of the nurses. Sometimes I say to myself, oh my God, if it is left to me, I don't know how to administer a medication to my patients. Although I know I'm supposed to be the most knowledgeable about that medication, but without the nurse, I am useless. Dr. But can you operate alone on a patient?
No.
You are surrounded by a team.
Yeah.
You see how this is the whole idea. But you are the most autonomous.
Yeah.
But you are not self-sufficient.
No.
Is that right?
That's what I'm
and
trying
you are
to.
Not yes, and you are
I'm
not helpless.
Teaching the residents this, that they need to respect your nurses and the staff, because they seem to feel like they are, like the kings in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You see, so we changed the whole assumption.
Yeah.
We changed over the years the whole assumption that you need the help of others.
Yeah.
And sometimes you are the leader. At other settings, somebody else may be the leader. Although you may be the physician or the surgeon or whoever. You see what I mean? In certain settings, you say, okay, probably the PT has to be the in charge, because this is the time for him or her to take action. And it will be the most important action for the patient at that moment, at that juncture. So I think I think it has become very clear what does it mean to be in the middle, even in our own emotions, how to be not only our actions, but also in our emotions, the importance of the direction, not only for our actions, but also for our own emotions. And the last verse in that section, الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ, but these people are spending right and left. But Quran said they are stingy. الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ, not only that, but they enjoin others to be stingy. Meaning what? Not to spend for the noble causes, not to spend to establish justice in society, not to spread rahmah, mercy, and forgiveness in the society. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّى فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْغَنِيُّ الْحَمِيدُ. If you turn away from the way of Allah, Allah doesn't need you. He is Al-Ghani. He is the true all rich. He doesn't need, we need him. يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله والله هو الغني الحميد. We lack, we are poor, we need him. If you don't thank him, he is already thanked by himself. Not only that, but he thanks. Al-Hamid, it has two meanings. That he is, so many creatures are showing gratitude to him, but also, even if all the creation denied him gratitude, he is Al-Ghani. He doesn't need it. And the other meaning is that he thanks a lot. And you see, من لا يشكر الناس لا يشكر الله. Someone who does not thank the people, you can infer from that he does not thank Allah. So thanking the people, and we are getting closer to Thanksgiving. So thanking others is part of thanking or a manifestation of your gratitude to Allah. And as I always remind myself and others that gratitude, showing gratitude is a manifestation of a freedom. Is a manifestation. بل الله فاعبد وكن من الشاكرين. Imam Ali said, whoever worships Allah out of gratitude, he said, this is the worship of the free. Can you imagine? من يعبد الله شكرا فتلك عبادة الأحرار. Not التجار, the business people. Okay, business people. Okay, like, okay, I will get this amount of ajr, and this is how much I lose. Okay, no, this is a level, but the higher level is to show gratitude to Allah out in your worshiping Him as a manifestation of a freedom. Because honestly, think about it. When somebody does good to you, okay, and you do not thank that person, you become really like a prisoner of your own ego. What does it mean, like when you say that you are good and you are denying that person? That it means that your ego is too big to say thank you to somebody else. Is that right?
It's self-sufficiency. You think that,
yes,
that person didn't do it to help me.
Yeah.
Just I deserved it somehow.
Exactly. Yamunnun, and the terminology of Quran. Mannan wa adha.
His vision is too close.
Too close. I mean, but I want you to see like how showing gratitude is a manifestation of your own freedom. You are free. You are free of your own ego. Imam Ali is not bringing it from his own mind. He is echoing, بَلِ اللَّهَ فَاعْبُدْ. If you are, when you worship Allah, you are really liberating yourself from everything. Nothing comes between you and Allah. وَكُنْ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. In the state of gratitude.
Absolute freedom.
Exactly. You see, again, I think this wa is reflecting the state. بل الله فاعبد وكن من الشاكرين, in the state of giving, of showing gratitude. And how you show gratitude to Allah? Through action.
Let's start with the...
If you are given something, you share it with others. You give it to others. You thank others. This is how we manifest our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اعملوا آل داوود شكرا. Act in order to achieve gratitude. In other words, gratitude is achieved through action.
Trusting in Allah. Start for freedom.
Yes. Yes, Shakil.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we are at 12 almost 12, 15.
we are alhamdulillah, we are
so
done.
we are going to continue this new surah next week?
New surah, yeah, because we are done.
Okay.
We discussed all the sections. Okay, and I think now when you reread it, you can see, okay, the central theme and how the different parts really like revolve around the central theme. Okay, آمنوا ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق. Now, I have in mind 3 surahs that we can go after, I mean, and discuss. Surah Muhammad, and these surahs come together. Muhammad, Al-Fatih, and Al-Hujurat. And all these are Medina surahs, and so it will hopefully really increase our understanding of the dynamics of Medina. Okay, and inshallah it will come at the right time after we have discussed recently so many surahs that were also revealed in Medina.